So we get to the upstairs and all of the there's 3 bedrooms and all of the bedroom doors are closed.
Oh boy.
So again, I'm like, and I could smell the smoke a little stronger and I'm like a little nervous all of a sudden. So I knock on door number 1. Hello, realtor. Walk in, no one's in there. Okay, they're just trying to keep the heat cold, whatever.
Right.
We look around that room. It's great. Door number 2, we just open it because no one answered on the first door and it was just closed. And there is a butt naked man.
No!
Fully passed out asleep with a lit cigarette.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalowski, and today we have Lora Banner with us.
Hi, Steph.
Hi, babe. Lora is an agent with Compass and Craig Lotzoff and Associates, and Lora and I have been friends since our Sotheby's days, so we go back a bit.
Long time.
Yes. She is a mom to an adorable little boy, and she's recently taken up golf, which has kind of made me think that maybe I need to do the same. Mostly to meet boys. That's what we're really trying to bull to her. And she's just a hardworking, lovely human. When I asked her to come on the show, we were chatting a bit about stories. And when she came in today, she was like, I actually have a new one for you. So I'm pretty pumped. Lora, welcome to Behind the Lockbox.
Thanks, Steph. It's great to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Thank you. Okay. So right before we started recording, you were like, I have something to tell you. And you just listed a new listing, which if you would like to shout it out, please do. Give everyone the address.
I did.
I can put it in the show notes as well. And then tell us what happened.
Well, I listed it on Monday.
Okay.
Which was Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
I think someone had a little too much Cinco de Drinko. And the night that we put it up online, someone drove, it's a gated community, someone drove through the fence and ended up in the pond.
At the community.
At the community. It's a gated community. There's security up front. It's all gated and enclosed. And behind the gates is a beautiful, really serene duck pond. And someone...
Oh my God, were any ducks hurt?
I don't think any ducks were hurt. I can't confirm. There's also turtles and koi. Hopefully...
Oh, no.
No animals were hurt.
Were harmed in this... Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do an open house or anything that day? Or did you do an event that night?
No, not that night.
Okay.
So it was while we were all sleeping.
So you weren't at the house. Thank God.
I woke up, let me check on my listing, and
it was like...
It was a Cinco de uh-oh.
So like they literally... Did they drive through like the side of the fence or like the front gate?
The fence is in the front, and then you go slightly to the right towards the gate and the security guard.
To drive through,
who was there all night. Thankfully, he didn't get hit. They went
so he saw this.
I assume so. I was sleeping. I don't know who saw what. I did receive pictures of the car in the pond, fully in the pond.
Stop. That's insane. Was the driver okay? Do we know?
I hope so. It's a shallow pond. I'm sure they're fine.
I'm sure they're fine.
Other than a DUI.
I mean, well, that's going to be shitty unless they took off running. Did you actually see the old man that passed away because he drove off the cliff in the cove a couple weeks ago? Did you see that?
No.
It was like, did you hear about that? So this has happened twice in the last like 2 years where the one old man, he survived, but he hit the gas. You know where it turns right down past below your office, Brockton Villa?
Yeah.
You know how it turns the corner right there and the the sea lions and everything are down on the rocks below, right?
Yeah.
As he was coming down the hill to turn, I don't know what happened, but it was like 7 p.m. So it was dusk. He went through that wood fence over the rocks and into the water. And luckily lifeguards like immediately, like people saw it, called 911. Yeah, the car sat there for the next 24 hours and it was like you were saying, like it was like this. And they kept saying like they did CPR on site and like we don't know the condition. And it was like an older gentleman, but they said 2 days later he passed away.
Oh, that's really sad.
So I don't know if maybe he had a heart attack or something. And then,
could have been medical.
It could have been medical. And then he just, maybe he was already, I don't know, but
scared him to death.
So
Can
sad.
you imagine driving off the cliff in the cove?
No.
I would just die on impact of.
I'm wondering if he already was like, something happened, you know what I mean? And that's why it just went, because I don't think it was like a high speed situation. I think maybe he just hit the gas instead of the brake. You know, it's hard to say, but anyway, oh my God. Aww. Well, hopefully no ducks or koi were harmed.
Or turtles
in that. You might need to go send me a picture of the pond.
They fixed it immediately. So it was not.
The gate's already fixed. So when you go to do a showing the next day, like, you're like, it's okay. Anyway, we're going this way. Like, don't look over here.
I had a showing the next day, the first day.
God, of course.
And they were already diligently fixing the fence.
That's hysterical. You're like, oh, it's just updates that's what the HOA covers. It's all good. God, interesting. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. You have another story.
I do. I have a good one.
Ooh,
a couple of years ago, I had a client who was relocating from the East Coast.
Okay.
And she really wanted to live in Pacific Beach.
Okay.
And for anyone listening who doesn't know about Pacific Beach, it is the area of San Diego that is like the fun, young,
for sure,
party area.
And
San Diego.
How old was this woman?
She was like later 20s.
Oh, okay.
30s.
So that tracks. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. I get it. As an East Coast transplant, tired of the winter blues, and you want to come to San Diego and have some fun. That's like the place.
Yeah, agreed.
So, I identified a couple properties. I schedule some viewings. Mm-hmm. We walk into a property. I totally had a scheduled appointment. Wasn't like I, went unannounced or anything. Knock on the door after, a couple run-ins with people still in the house. I always knock on the door really, ding, 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 ding.
Hello, here for the showing.
There's a realtor here in your house.
Please don't be naked. Please don't be in the shower. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go in. We're looking at the whole living, kitchen. Everything's amazing.
And was
She's
this
loving the space.
staged and vacant, or was someone living there?
It was a couple years ago. I don't specifically remember because a lot of those places in Pacific Beach are vacation rentals.
So it had furniture and stuff in it,
It had furniture for sure. It wasn't a vacant place. I just don't know if it was the staging furniture, the owner's furniture.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're looking around like I have a super sniffer. Like my superpower is I have a really intense sense of smell. And I kept thinking that like I smelled cigarette smoke.
Oh, I can
smell cigarette smoke from like 2 blocks away.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm also that way with like gas. Like I accidentally had like clicked my stove when I was cleaning it, and like I turned around and I immediately, like, I'm very sensitive. I actually have a crazy story for you about that. But anyway, yeah, keep going.
So I smelled smoke, but I didn't really think too much of it.
And you're like, maybe it's an Airbnb, whatever. Like
maybe someone smoked in here a couple days ago.
Maybe windows open and the neighbor smoking, like whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we get to the upstairs and all of the there's 3 bedrooms and all of the bedroom doors are closed.
Oh boy.
So again, I'm like, and I could smell the smoke a little stronger, and I'm like a little nervous all of a sudden. So I knock on door number 1. Hello, realtor. Walk in, no one's in there. Okay, they're just trying to keep the heat cold, whatever.
Right.
We look around that room. It's great. Door number 2, we just open it because no one answered on the first door and it was just closed. And there is a butt naked man.
No!
Fully passed out asleep with a lit cigarette hanging in his hand. And he is like dead to the world, passed out. There's a beer bottle on the side coffee table.
What?
He's fully asleep with a cigarette.
He could have caught the house on fire.
Oh, yeah.
I have someone else that came on this podcast that happened to a vacant property he purchased back east because he was flipping stuff, and the whole house burned down because the grandpa fell asleep upstairs with a cigarette hanging out of. Yes. Or no, sorry. The drunk guy fell asleep in the basement, burned the house down, and grandpa was upstairs sleeping, and grandpa died.
Not grandpa.
Yes. Like, he could have burned the house down. What did you do? Naked?
Fully naked.
Saw everything? Oh my God, I'd be so scarred. I'd be so scarred.
His soft eggplant.
Oh my God. I'm going to put a little eggplant emoji on this reel. I saw his eggplant. Oh my God.
His soft eggplant. Yeah, he was asleep.
No. Did you just immediately close the door?
I think I did some sort of
about face.
I think I panicked and ran. And then I looked back over my shoulder and my client is taking a selfie.
Stop.
With the passed out.
She's like, this is hysterical. No way.
Yeah.
And she's like, I for sure want to live in it. These people look like they're having a great time. She was so ready to leave the cold.
We took the cigarette. He kind of woke up the littlest bit, but you could tell he was very, very intoxicated and didn't even know, register that we were there.
Oh my
And we
God.
saw ourselves out and had a good chuckle.
Okay, so there's been a couple of naked stories on this podcast, or people have walked in on people doing or themselves.
Yeah.
so disgusting. And one of Brian, one of my other friends came on this podcast, and he was like, this was like over a year ago. I just told the story a couple of weeks ago again, but he did the same thing. He like announced himself, and it was his listing. So like he announces himself and he's like, you know, hi, here, Brian's here. And he opens the door and he sees his naked seller. She was like sunbathing. And it was like one of the properties at the bay down in Mission Bay. So like it was a long condo where you could like see straight out to the water. Mm-hmm. She like jumps up and like runs in the room, and he's like, oh my God. And he closes the door and she's like, I forgot you were coming. But like, I mean, good for her, like naked sunbathing on a Tuesday afternoon, you know, she was just enjoying that breeze. I loved it for her too. I was like, it sounds lovely. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the things we see are just, there's no shortage. There is no shortage.
In PB, it tracks, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled propertyshowcasegroup.com. propertyshowcasegroup.com. I'm back to talk about our sponsor and producer, Property Showcase Group. This is for all my agent and affiliate friends out there. Property Showcase Group has a special offer for you. The first 3 agents to email Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com will get 1 month free of social media management using code LOCKBOX. That's right, 1 month free. And they're offering 20% off your first video production using code LOCKBOX. For more information, contact Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com, and don't forget to use code LOCKBOX or mention this podcast.
Have you ever, like, speaking of like new listings, so has anyone weird ever come into like an open house of yours? You haven't had that yet, luckily.
Not super weird.
Okay,
of course,
that's good.
You know, in Del Mar, you get that like older kind of, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had some rude people come in for sure.
Isn't that interesting?
I had maybe I would classify this guy as weird come in, and my team, we generally do open houses together now for safety reasons.
Yes, 100%. I never do one alone anymore.
Yeah, same. Mm-hmm. So myself and my colleague Debbie were there, and he looked at our business cards and he said, "You two both really need new headshots."
Excuse me, sir. Go look in the mirror, number one, because I doubt he was a very good-looking gentleman.
70.
No.
And 5 feet tall. But yeah.
He was just going around telling all these realtors, like, which it is kind of funny to me when, like, people have, like, best benches.
We all know
or, like,
those realtors who need to update their headshots.
Yeah, and I update mine, like, yearly. If not, like, I'm always, like, taking new photos. You know what I mean? Because you need it for content. And also just, like, if I've lost weight, I'm like, I'm going to take a new headshot. You know what I mean? But like, it's so funny to me that the people that have had the same photo for the last like 15 years. And I'm like, ma'am, sir, I'm thinking of the 2 specifically in my head right now. We'll talk later.
A handful.
Yeah. Anyway.
Update your headshots, guys.
Update your headshots, please. You know?
Do you know who you are?
You do know who you are. You're probably listening to this podcast. Anyway, that's wild. I mean, and when we were, so by the way, Laura and I just had coffee together, like what, a week ago,
2
week
ago,
and a half ago, whatever it was. And we were chatting about like the podcast and like things to talk about. And, you know, I knew you would have like some funny stories and we'd come out the gate laughing. But one thing that we did talk about was like how to kind of take care of ourselves in this business. And we've only talked about this a couple of times. And so I want to segue a little bit here. Are there things that you specifically do? I feel like golf is one of them.
Golf is a good one.
That you are doing to kind of like take care of your mental health, if you will. You know what I mean? And it was funny. Max, my producer, walked in and he's like, how are you? And I think it's just like written on my face right now. Like I've had a real rough fucking go the last like 10 days. Like I'm exhausted, to be honest with you. And there are definitely things that like I do to keep my mind right and like self-care. What are some things that you do?
Well,
Because this translates for anyone who's not in real estate. Like, we need to be taking care of ourselves.
Real estate is really stressful.
Yes.
And I think that, we absorb the stress from both our client and the other side.
100%.
And I do think that it takes a certain personality to be able to survive that in real estate. And I think you have to have a really thick skin.
Yes.
And like, I was going to pose this as a joke, but be a little bit dead inside. If you take things personally, or if you get emotionally attached, you're going to get really upset in real estate.
You are. It's definitely, you got to have thick skin. And there's a lot of no's, and there's a lot of, people telling you need to update your headshots. A lot of disappointment. Like, you can work on things. And this has also come up a lot, especially since the NAR settlement and things like that. Like, again, I don't think people realize that we work for free until we're paid.
Sure.
And so, we're like, you just have this new listing, right?
Yeah.
You paid for photos,
flowers,
everything,
a ton of things,
all the marketing stuff, everything you're doing, every ad, any video, postcards, anything that you're doing.
Yep.
And I'm in the process of putting 4 on right now. And I'm just like, it's just
That's
like,
a
boom,
lot.
boom. It's a lot at once. It's a lot, and one of them is $2.5 million. Like, you want to spend some decent money on that stuff. Right. So like, that's one thing like that. I also had a conversation. I've talked about this a couple of times in the last couple of months, where a family friend of mine was like, oh my God, like, how much are they paying you? And I was like, who's they? Like, no. She is paying like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there is none of that. So when it comes to the self-care stuff, like, I definitely try to move my body at least once a day.
Exercise,
you know what I
is
mean?
my big one.
It's a huge one. And I think golf is really cool that you've taken that up. And not only, it's kind of like a twofer. Like, you could meet new people on the golf course, maybe some eligible men, we'll see.
Maybe a client.
Maybe a
new boyfriend.
We're out here looking for it all. You know what I mean? But like, it's cool that you've taken that up as a hobby, because that's just also a new friends. Like, I love meeting people who
I've made a ton of friends through golf. Yeah, actually.
I love that.
Yeah. I think I started when we were back at Sotheby's. We had a big golf tournament.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know how to play, and I couldn't participate, and I felt kind of left out.
Yeah. And so you're like, let me try to learn. I know
So I learned,
nothing
and now
about it.
I love it.
My neighbor upstairs is an avid golfer, and me and his girlfriend are always like, can we come to the golf course with you? And he's like, absolutely not. We're like,
I'll take you, girls.
We just want to drive the golf cart. I know, you should take us. It'll be so fun.
I'll take you.
It'll be so fun. She probably has no interest, but I want to kind of drive.
It's so fun. Like, you're out in nature.
Yeah.
You're having a cocktail.
Yeah. Driving the golf cart around, shooting the shit. It's so fun.
It is.
Well, that's good.
I'm going to take you out there.
Okay, please do.
You're going to
Please
love
do. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself, because,
Thanks, love.
we have to. I mean, there's literally, again, this business will chew you up and spit you out. And we've been doing this a long time now.
Long time.
Feels like
Don't tell
25
them.
years.
It's not that long. We're not that old.
We're not that old, but it's been almost 10 for me. It's a
I'm
long
on
time.
9.
Yeah. It's a long
Same.
time. I know. Anyway, thank God for Craig, right? Craig,
Yeah.
we love you. I need to have
Love
him
Craig.
on the podcast.
He has some great stories.
I know he does. And him in his little 3-piece suit would just look so cute in that chair. You know what I mean?
He's got great fashion sense.
I know. Smells good.
I love a fashionable man.
I do too. That man. Okay. You want to play a game?
Yeah.
This might incite some stories for you. So it's called Punch List, because I'm going to hit you with 3 questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind. So this might take you a second, but just like recall some deals. Okay. Well, the first one, I'll switch this up, because one of them is, what is the weirdest thing or situation you've ever walked in on? And I'm pretty sure you already covered that. You know what I mean? What is the craziest or pettiest thing that's ever killed or almost killed one of your deals?
The pettiest ego, I would say.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
If sellers and buyers
Something
cannot.
stupid.
Yeah.
Solar.
Yeah. Oh my God. It almost killed one of my deals end of last year. Like, the seller agreed to finally pay it off, because I was like, this is your only way out. We had a bunch of other issues with the property, but I was like, if you want this to close, you have to pay this off. Like, there was other reasons for that, but like, it can absolutely kill it, whether
Also,
it's leaned or broken or whatever.
Yeah. Any agents listening, get on that solar the first day you put it in escrow.
Please.
It takes a long time.
It does. Especially with all the acquisitions that have been happening. One of the biggest solar companies just went bankrupt, and that's what we were going through. So it wasn't that the buyer was actually going to take it forward, but the company was like, well, we can't transfer it for another 90 days. And with the loan, they weren't going to be able to. It was a disaster.
90 days?
And that was at minimum.
Wow.
Like, it was insane. So she basically had to pay it off. We had to get it was like all hands on deck. Girl, it was like, oh my God. But we got through with it. I've had people be like, a blanket, a refrigerator seal, termite. You know, we had one of our friends on that, like, there was like a $500 like termite request for repair or something. And like the seller was like, absolutely not. And the buyers were like, well, and like they were like at a standstill. Like no one was going to.
Over $500.
So he calls the agent. He's like, I will pay for the termite. You know, we buy the deal sometimes, right? Like I'm not going to let a deal die for $500. Like that's insane. Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve? This can be in life, in business, anything.
I hate people who go places sick and like cough on you and they're like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just deathly ill.
Thank you so much. Or you have a kid. So have you ever gone to friends' houses where they're like, oh, so-and-so is sick. Sorry. And like, they couldn't have been bothered to tell you?
All the time.
Like, what is that?
All the time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Mine usually centers around driving because I'm like kind of have some.
I do have some road rage.
I have a lot of road rage, mostly because I'm just like a
does
fast
not
driver.
everyone have road rage?
I don't know. A couple of people have been like, Steph, you got to let that go, and I'm like, absolutely not. It's also where I take out my anger. You know what I mean? Like, come on! Like you would think I'm from the East Coast.
Really poorly. Like it's hard
so
to not
poorly.
Have road
and
rage.
All my friends laugh at me because I honk, and I'm like, hi, it's a form of communication. Thank you. I'm so glad we align with that. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. I'm super interested in this question. If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
Like for real or for fantasy?
It doesn't matter. If it's either something like if you had something like I've always wanted to do it, but like, or if money was no object, like, okay, for example, mine initially kind of fantasy because I can't sing, but I was like, it would be so fun to be a country music singer, like a good one, like a famous, like how fun to like go on stage, you know?
Mine would be like a backup dancer or like Lady Gaga.
I love that.
Yeah. That's why I was like, is this for real or is this for fantasy? Because that's very fantasy.
And if you
for
could
sure.
do anything for real, like what would you do?
I don't know. Be a kept woman that goes to Pilates. That
you know what's so funny? So I Paige Steckling, who is one of my really good friends, she's my agent colleague out in Utah, and she was like, okay, so like, I mean, if money was no object, like I'd be retired and just travel. And I was like, me too. But we were talking more about seriously about like what it's like to be able to like buy those experiences and spend that time with your family, like your people, and just like enjoy each other. If like money, like I would, that's all I would do is travel.
Absolutely.
Like I would just constantly travel, do some philanthropy. Like it would be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, but I would still have to do something to keep myself busy.
Sure.
Because but then, you know, dabble in real estate because then you're not stressed and who cares? You know what I mean?
If money was no object, I'd probably be an investor.
For sure. I would
just invest in real estate and collect checks.
100%. Yeah. We can
not that money is no object. We're going to do that regardless.
We are going to do that, but you know, there's time anyway.
Well, that's what, if I were to pivot, that's what I would pivot to.
100%. I love that. Thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome.
I'm not going to get over the naked man in a very long time. I got to tell you. Woo!
It took me a while.
And I have a feeling with this listing, you're going to call me and be like, I have another story. I have to come back on the podcast. You're going to be like, come on down. I hope not either. I hope it sells very quickly for you.
Thank you, babe.
So it's beautiful. Oh, do you want to tell everyone what the address is?
It is 18562 Caminito Pasadero, and it's a 3-bedroom condo in Rancho Bernardo.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really liked it. It's going to sell quick. So.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening today. Please don't forget, follow and download the show on Apple and Spotify, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.